Morning, everybody. First of all, I want to apologize. I had that interview set up. Something happened, and not on my end, but something happened, and I will be rescheduling it within the next couple of days here. So I want to apologize for that. But I wanted to talk about Inoue for a minute because I'm not, Crawford and Spence made me wait 5 years for that. I'm not talking about Crawford and Spence until after the Inoue fight. All right? Go, hold on, lovely. So, this smear campaign that the American boxing media has been putting Inoue through over the last handful of days is quite frankly disgusting. I've seen channels, podcasts with millions and millions and millions, and some of them I already didn't like before. Now I really don't like them because now they're going off accusing Inoue of being on steroids, which is absolutely disgusting. They're looking for an excuse to come up with after Inoue knocks their boy the fuck out Tuesday morning. All right? So they got some built-in excuse of why it happened, why this happened, why that happened, blah, 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 blah. And notice, this is the same group of American boxing media. I mean, I've heard it. And even if they didn't say it directly, they've insinuated it, okay? The kid from Fight Hype, Sekback, the Boxing Boy, all of these fucking dudes, bro. Now all of a sudden they're all the LDBC. All of these dudes are all saying that Southpaw, they're all saying that Inoue's on the sauce because they know what's going to happen to Stephen Fulton on Tuesday. They know what's going to happen. And the most disturbing thing is, this is the same thing they did to Manny Pacquiao. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. There was never any concrete evidence of Manny Pacquiao being on steroids. Never. Not one bit. Okay? The reason those accusations came out were because of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd pushed that narrative to his friends in the media that Pacquiao was somehow on the sauce. Which is ironic because Floyd got caught spiking up after the Pacquiao weigh-in. But he threw some VADA people or USADA peoples a couple of $100,000. They swept it under the rug. And you can go look at the Thomas Hauser report. This is shit we've all been known for years now. But it's the same kind of thing they did to Manny Pacquiao back in the day when he starts breaking these dudes' faces and running through people and making an embarrassment of some of these other guys. Now all of a sudden they're on steroids. But this same pack of guys won't say anything about Floyd, who actually got caught on steroids. But they'll accuse Pacquiao to no end of being juiced up to the gills, just like they're doing with Inoue right now. It's the same pack of guys that won't say anything about Canelo testing positive twice, and then they'll say, well, he passed the hair follicle. That's because the WBC adjusted the levels for him to be able to pass. Yeah. And not to mention Canelo tested positive earlier in his career in Mexico, but we won't talk about that because people don't know what they're talking about. This is why I don't argue boxing with morons anymore, because most of them don't know they're boxing. And a good handful of the ones that do know they're boxing have some sort of agenda to push, bro. This is why I'm very selective with who I talk boxing with. Very selective. But the fact that out of the blue and into the black, all of a sudden they're accusing Inoue of being on the sauce, bro. Why? Is there any evidence of that? No. You know why? Because, you know why they're doing that? Because if Stephen Fulton loses on Tuesday, which he very well might, they have an excuse for why he was defeated. That is why they are pushing that agenda. Because there's no way he could have beat Stephen Fulton unless he's on spiking up. It's ridiculous, bro. And I want to talk about something else, and I've heard it from all of these dudes. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And like I say, those same dudes that are accusing Inoue of being on juice now, when there's no evidence of it, they won't say a word about it when it comes to Canelo or Floyd, because they have a narrative to push, and they have an agenda to push, and those two dudes actually got caught. Unlike Pacquiao, unlike Inoue, and back to Pacquiao, the crazy thing is about Pacquiao, and I don't want to make this a Pacquiao video. I'm trying to stick to Inoue, but it's deja vu. We've seen it before. That's why I'm making the comparison there. And Pacquiao started as a 15-year-old kid or whatever he was, 16, 15, as a teenager. So naturally, as he gets older, he's going to put on 20 or 30 pounds as he enters manhood and becomes a grown man. There was nothing supernatural about Pacquiao's growth. And to drive that point home even further, did Pacquiao still have some pop at welterweight? Yes, he did. But was it the kind of power that he had at 122 and 126 and 130? No, he only had 2 or 3 knockouts at welterweight. Cotto, Hatton was at 140. Older Lucas Matisse, like it never really translated like that. And that's another piece of the puzzle that people constantly forget to mention. But it's very reminiscent of when these dudes in the American media were accusing Pacquiao of the same shit, because he started running through people and they had to come up with some kind of story to why he was beating the hell out of all the Americans and the Mexicans. It is what it is, man. I mean, it's just so disgusting. So I can guarantee you, after Inoue snaps Stephen Fulton's neck after he rips Stephen Fulton's head off and knocks his rib cage out of his back next Tuesday, you're going to hear every excuse in the book for why it happened. He's on the sauce. The Japanese did something to him. It was unfair that he had to go to Japan. They're going to come up with every excuse in the book after Inoue puts this dude in a casket. Watch. They're already starting it a week before the fight, okay? And, but we'll see what happens on Tuesday. Man. I'm not going to keep driving that point home, but it's just an embarrassment. And the most disturbing thing about it is, some of these guys that are even if they're not flat out saying it, some of these guys are making the innuendos, that are insinuating it. These guys have millions and millions of followers. So you have a big voice. And that's what I find most disgusting about the American boxing media. Guys that do have a huge following, guys that people do listen to, guys that people do take note of, they twist this kind of shit around and make it into something that it's not. So to the sheep and the casuals out there, it looks like truth, when in reality, it's bullshit. And that's what I find most disturbing. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. I just find it's hilarious that they're already coming up with excuses for when and if Stephen Fulton loses on Tuesday, okay? And if he goes over there and wins, hats off to him. But, I mean, it's just disgusting, man. It's flat out disgusting. And anybody that's saying that shit should be ashamed of themselves. Because like I say, when it comes to Floyd, when it comes to Canelo's, guys that actually have gotten caught, they don't have anything to say. But they can assume that Inoue and Pacquiao are doing something wrong with no concrete evidence of it. It's hypocritical and it's lies. It's that simple. So with that being said, hit the like and subscribe. God bless you all. I hope everybody has a nice Wednesday morning. And I'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.